I had a conversation recently about the hatred that's going around in our nation. We see it in so many places. Racism, politics, the roles of public officials, issues of social justice. The reality is that there's many issues where things are broken and they don't reflect the values that God would have them. But I was thinking mainly about the hatred that's being expressed. We usually don't think about it, but at the core of the Old Testament book of Jonah is the issue of hatred. Because of the popularity of the story of Jonah and the whale, or the big fish as the text says, people are very familiar with how Jonah was supposed to go to the Ninevites. But instead of going to Nineveh, he ran in the direction and went on a sailing ship. We know how a storm came up and Jonah was thrown overboard. He was swallowed by a giant fish and then was spit up on the beach at Nineveh. The reluctant prophet shared about God's judgment, and the people in Nineveh repented and they changed their course of action, and God relented. You have to wonder about, what was Jonah thinking? What motivated him? He disobeyed God and ran in the other direction. His motivation had to be crazy strong. He reveals his thinking in the beginning verses of chapter 4. Jonah complained to the Lord. He said, "This is exactly what I thought you'd do, Lord, when I was there in my own country when you first told me to come here. That's why I ran away to Tarshish, for I knew you were a gracious God, merciful, slow to get angry, and full of kindness. I knew how easily you'd cancel your plan for destroying these people. Please kill me, Lord. I'd rather be dead than alive when nothing that I told them happens." At the core of Jonah's motivation was hatred. He hated the Ninevites. He felt that they were so wrong, so evil, that they deserved whatever judgment God would give them. They were so bad that Jonah didn't even think they deserved a warning. Hatred runs deep and strong in so many cultures around our world. It's part of our culture. The roots of it sometimes can be seen in our sport affiliations. There's a line that's expressed by diehard Boston fans saying they root for the Red Sox and anybody who plays the Yankees. There's an old adage that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. God knew Jonah's heart. He says it so well in the passage. "I knew you were a gracious God, merciful, slow to get angry, and full of kindness." Even though Jonah knew God's heart, his hatred caused him to run from God, to cause himself unnecessary pain and trouble. In the New Testament, the teachings and actions of Jesus show how God's love is directed towards everyone. I think of Jesus' teaching about loving our neighbor, his interactions with the Samaritan woman at the well. Samaritans were hated by the Jews. I think of his love for children, the poor, the lame, the rich, male, female, slaves, beggars. Jesus loved, and he loves us all. A prevailing view in our cultures is that if we disagree with someone or hold a view that's different than theirs, we're haters. This view is nonsense. We don't have to agree with someone to love them. A book I read said that the southern border of New England is where the Yankee fans outnumber the Red Sox fans. I know it's hard to believe, but we have marriages in our church where the fan allegiance is split between New York and Boston. We don't have to hate. Love can be part of how we act and behave. We can't stop people from hating, but we do have to own our own attitudes and actions. The heart of our God is love. As Christ followers, hatred towards anyone, for any reason, for any characteristic, is wrong. Instead of hatred, we're called to forgiveness and love. I once heard someone say that instead of being a part of the problem, We need to be a part of the solution. God is gracious, merciful, slow to get angry, and full of kindness. How do we let our attitudes and our actions reflect that? How do we get rid of the hatred in ourselves, but also help remove and minimize the hatred in our culture?